if I can get my nature walks in, if I can get 2 miles in a day, I was doing hardly even one. And now I've gotten up to already, since I've been using the device, I've gotten up to 3.5 miles.
Hey, Kathie, thanks for spending some time with me today, my friend.
Thank you for having me. It's exciting to be here with you, Tracy.
Aw. So can you start off by just telling me a little bit about how you were feeling prior to coming to QHS?
Well, I had a lot of issues. Prior to coming to QHS, I had a lot of sinus issues going on for years. And some of it was, actually, it was just like seasonal allergy type things. But it was like I always had a stuffed up head. And I never really had the eye watery type thing, but it was always in my head. And it was just really, it get to be really bad sometimes, where the sinus headaches were just unbearable. And so I was having a lot of those. I have a history of reflux because I have a lot of surgeries. I have like a history of like 12 surgeries.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, I've got a lot of surgery. I got scars all over me. But my stomach looks like a tic-tac-toe from having so many surgeries. And my muscles are all cut up, so I need work on that. But anyway, I was having a lot of issues, and I've also had a stomach for weight loss because I was having many years of issues with my weight loss, and I got desperate and I ended up getting a gastric sleeve. So I'm kind of curious to see how that's going to work out later. But it caused me to have a lot of issues, reflux issues, and I had to have my gallbladder removed after that. So I'm kind of sorry I did it, but I have lost 62 pounds in a couple of years.
Wow, that's a lot.
But yeah, and it's a lot of work, but anyway, I had that going on beforehand also. And also I have bursitis in my hip. And so my walks were going from, basically I couldn't even go a mile walking. And I couldn't hardly even like move around with my bursitis because it hurt so bad in my right hip. I got a few of those injections, but then they don't last that long. So I was having that. And then the sleep pattern immediately, I was having no sleep, basically 3 to 4 hours, if that.
Oh no.
Yeah, I couldn't sleep. I would wake up. If I would go to sleep, then I would just wake up a couple of hours later. It was no restful sleep at all. And and I don't like to take medicine. I don't like to take any medications. So I was on, I would once in a while take one of those little gummies, melatonin.
Oh, okay, melatonin.
But it really didn't help.
I automatically think it's a CBD gummy or something.
Oh yeah. No, I haven't tried those yet. But it didn't really help that much, but it maybe would help me a little bit if I didn't get any sleep. So I was getting pretty desperate in that area too. And I've had sleep studies done, and I don't have sleep apnea because I had a couple of them done because of the sleep problem. And another thing is, I think I'm a real energetic person like you. And so it's hard to wind down. And so I have to make myself do it earlier. But that was one of my big issues. Also, I would have to say I was a little down in the dumps beforehand. I was started with LWS, and then when I got into QHS, I was better. But beforehand, I think everybody was down in the dumps with all of this COVID going on.
Oh yeah.
But that was another thing that was just, really just stressful. and disheartening that you're going through all this physical stuff, plus you have all the mental anguish and all of that going on as well. So, but so the hip thing was a big problem. I couldn't ride my bike really. So I was just trying to get steps in when I could. And so those were all basically the beginning, before I went to QHS. Those are most of the things that I was having the issues with for the most part. So.
Nice. Well, that's a lot. That is a lot. And then when did you get your device, Kathie?
I've had it 7 weeks. I got it. I started using it on the 21st of April.
Okay.
So it's been 7 weeks exactly today.
Nice.
So yeah. And
then what have you noticed?
Well, the first week I noticed I was sleeping all night.
Cool.
The very first night I had it, I was a little surprised because the very first night I had it, I had a horrible event happen all night long after I put it on that night. I couldn't, it was almost like I had gastritis or something, reflux was coming up, or it was all night long and it was really bad. And I hardly got any sleep the first night. It was almost like it was like trying to figure out something. And then the next night, I slept like a baby. And every day after that, I've slept like a baby. I don't know what it was the first night, if it was adjusting to my body or what, I don't know. But I did notice. And then the sleep, it's not just sleeping the hours. I'm sleeping 7 to 8 hours now, where I was sleeping maybe 3 or 4 at the most. And wow. So, I see that's quite an improvement, and it's restful sleep.
Good.
So those are, and then I've always been a nature person like you, doing a lot of walking, and I don't do the running. I quit doing that years ago. I used to do it, but I'm lucky if I can walk now. So if I can get my nature walks in, if I can get 2 miles in a day, I was doing hardly even 1. And now I've gotten up to already, since I've been using the device, I've gotten up to 3.5 miles.
Wow, Kathie, that's awesome.
And my walking and riding my bike, I can go, I can actually ride my bike. For some reason, it must be the hip action or something. I'm not sure, but the bike riding bothers me more than the walking. But I've been able to ride. I started riding my bike again, and I've been riding it about 5 miles when I do. I switch off between the walking and the riding, but I mostly walk because I enjoy that. And I like to look at the nature, and just be there and touch the trees and all of that spiritual kind of thing that I really like. And it just makes me so happy and excited. And so that's been a lot better. All of that's been a lot better. And my spiritual thing, Tracy, you were the first person that I ever listened to a meditation in my life. When I started with LWS, I had never meditated and I didn't even know what it was. So I started doing the meditations. And then when as a few months went by, I started doing them more, and I was doing the commands also, the LWS commands, doing my own commands, but you know what I mean. And I basically made my foot better. So, nice. And that got me to saying, there's something to this. The spiritual thing is something big. It's huge. And I've got to keep this up, because when I first got the notice that we should start going within, I was like, what is this? What is this going within? I never heard of this, but I'll try it. That was my attitude. I'll try whatever. And it got to be where it was just, I like to mix the commands with the meditation. That's the style I like.
Nice.
So, but I'm doing now, I do my spiritual I do my meditation in the morning when I first get up for 30 minutes or longer, maybe sometimes.
Wow, that's amazing. Good for you.
Yes. And I do it in the evening also. I try to wind down, and then I do my meditation before I go to bed, like around maybe an hour before or half an hour before. And I do that for another 30 minutes there. Sometimes I've gone over, maybe a little under, but for an average, I would say I do it for 30 minutes twice a day. And it's just unbelievable. I can't even believe I'm doing it. I mean, I would never go without it now, because the spiritual thing is huge. I'm just like getting all these signs and everything, and I know what I'm supposed to be doing now.
You trump me, Kathie. I am so honking busy right now with QHS, and I was before even with LWS, that my meditation is going out in nature, taking my walk and talking to God and just soaking it in, doing commands, talking to the birds and appreciating, having gratitude for everything. That's about as good as I can get right now.
Yes, but that's good. That's great still, though. I mean, but yeah, I make sure I get out into the nature too. It was hard during the winter time here in Chicago.
Oh yeah,
it was really hard. Yeah, so I would have to go on my treadmill. That's no fun. But I hate it. I have one, but I hate it. But I use it in the winter if I have to. But there were some warm days that we had that I went on my nature walks, and I posted my pictures with the snow and everything, hugging the trees. So
that's fabulous.
So I mean, that's really I can't do without my nature walks. So the spiritual thing is a huge thing for me, which it never was even in my picture before.
Wow, so, that's great.
Yeah,
so your sinuses, so your allergies, your sinus congestion, that's gone?
It's gone. The sinus congestion's gone. The reflux is gone, totally gone. The bursitis is gone. It doesn't hurt at all anymore. It just, and I noticed it a little at a time when I was doing my walks. I'm like, I feel pretty good. I'll walk a little further, and it got to be where, oh my gosh, my hip doesn't even hurt today. And it was really just amazing. I amazed myself, all these little things that were popping up that are better now.
And just 7 weeks.
Yes. And my mood and my energy was always high, but I'm like off the charts now sometimes. That's why I have to wind down before I go to bed. But it's the energy, the mood, the positivity that I've got now. I mean, I'm positive about everything. If you tell me something negative, I'll turn it into a positive. And that's the way and it's rubbing off on my husband, who's still sleeping. So
join the club, Kathie.
Yeah.
Imagine all the stuff that I've done in the last 2 years, and he's still asleep.
Yeah, I know. I think we're in the same boat here. Because my husband's too, like, he'll see the sign on my door, do not disturb, and he leaves me be, and he's like, oh, you got another one of those meetings. He doesn't have a clue though, and he's like, what are these beds you're talking about? And he says, yeah, right. He doesn't believe anything. And I can't wait to see his face when I come out of the Q arc. I mean, it's going to be amazing to see his look on his face. So
he's going to be like, where's my wife? What you do with her?
Yeah, I think, maybe it's hopeful thinking, and he's just waiting to see what happens. But I also feel like I was always a person that was like, I want to hug you today or whatever. But I'm just like, I want to hug everybody. I want to hug you right now, Tracy. I'm hugging people that are strangers. It's like it's very moving for me. And and my family's noticed it. And like, I have 7 siblings and they're all asleep. And I'm the only one awake. And they're like, boy, why are you in such a good mood today? And I kind of try to rub it off a little bit on them. And it seems to work. So it's to some point, and then we don't get into the conversations though.
Yeah.
It'll come, and their time will come when they will be ready. But I mean, I've been ready. So I'm ready to do this, get this thing going. and just keep working on everything I need to work on as I go along. So,
and you mentioned the Q arc. So you get to take all this knowledge, wisdom, experience, beautiful life lessons, and apply them to a do-over with a 30-year-old body. Kathie, what are you going to do with that? What excites you?
Oh my gosh, Tracy. I have been, me and my husband and my family have all been scuba divers for like 30 years. And my grandsons have just gotten into scuba diving. In the last few years, I haven't gone. And I'll tell you a story about that. The last time I went, I said I'd never go again, because when I went, we went to Cozumel and I went to get up on the boat and I couldn't get up. I couldn't make it up because of my hip and my weight. That was like 7 years ago. And after that, I started working on everything. But it was embarrassing. And I couldn't put my buoyancy compensator on. It wouldn't. I brought my own from home that I wore all the time, and it wouldn't fit. And it was so embarrassing. So I want to be able to go on the trips and have a 3-generation dive trip with my kids, my grandkids, and my husband. And it's going to be grand. I mean, we used to go like all the time. My husband and I have been all over different places in the world scuba diving. And I have never gotten to go with my grandchildren. And so that is one of my main things that I want to do after for that. And of course, and that's for myself. I also want to be able to wear a 2-piece bathing suit without a checkerboard stomach.
Oh, from your scars?
Yes. Yes. I had, like, while I was in Dominican Republic, I had a small bowel blockage, which I didn't know it was a small bowel blockage. But long story short, I ended up 30 days. When they got me back here to the US, I was in the hospital 30 days with all the surgery and stuff to fix it. And then ever since then, I've had other blockages, and I've had my gallbladder removed, and 2 surgeries on my rotator cuff here for softball, and 1 on this one for pulling a suitcase too hard and getting jammed. So I've had a lot of surgeries, plus stomach surgeries, and 2 C-sections in my stomach from 2 children that weighed 10.5 pounds. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. So
wow.
I had a lot of surgery. So my stomach is in bad shape, and I gave up, but I did try at the beginning to get my muscles on my stomach back on track, but they were just so cut up. But I mean, if there's a way I could do it, I will get those back in shape, because I know that by losing weight, which I've lost a lot of weight, I've got a lot of skin hanging, and things like that maybe the Q arc will help with that. But I don't know if it can do the muscles. I'm hoping it can.
Think about this. A perfect 30-year-old body has pretty darn good muscles, right? So why wouldn't it be able to? When people ask this question, I always say, well, why wouldn't it? You know, like somebody asked about scoliosis, and I'm like, well, why wouldn't it fix it? Because that perfect 30-year-old body doesn't have scoliosis.
Yes. And I strive for a perfect body. So that's what I'm going to ask for.
Yeah. Well, we're all going to get that perfect 30-year-old body.
Yes.
You know? So, and it's going to equip us because we have work to do, girl.
I know. A lot of work. And I mean, I'm on a holistic diet that I've been on for a couple of years while I've been losing weight. And a lot of the things that you bring onto the website, I already do some of those things, and I really like that, because that's what I've been learning to do anyway. But there's some work that I do need on, like, you know, my dinner meals and things like that. But I have used that, and it seems to work really well. That type of diet that I don't know what you call it, but it works for me. Whatever you're doing is working for me, and I just want to keep doing it right. And one of my goals is to drink 4 of these.
Good. Day. Is it a liter?
Yes.
Perfect.
I can't get past 3 and a couple of sips of the last one. So, I mean, I know that's something I need to work on more. sometimes I'll put a little lemon in it or something like that. And it does help a little bit. But sometimes when you get busy, you forget to drink it, right?
Well, that's why I always keep it with me. And I always have a liter in the morning before I go to the gym. So a liter is done by 7.
Yeah.
And then I usually finish another one by 12, 3, and 6. Those are my goals. And then that way I get the gallon in.
Yeah.
And you can set an alarm on your phone so that it say if it's 3 o'clock and your third one has still in it, you have to chug a lug.
Yeah.
You know? But last night I finished.
I might have to work on that last one because I just can't seem to get it in. And I don't know. Late in the day, it's hard to chug right after dinner.
Oh, you don't want to chug right after dinner because you don't want to wash away the enzymes while you're trying to digest your food.
Okay.
So you don't want to drink with your dinner or your meals. You want to drink either before or after, but not during. So yeah, getting it down early is better. Like last night I went on a run after work. And so then I was extra thirsty and then I drank water like late. I was up twice to go to the bathroom. So can't do that anymore.
Yeah. That used to be part of my problem, but I also have like an incontinence type thing. I think it's just because my bladder fell as my age. I'm 73.
Woo, and, you look good.
Well, thank you. I'm 73 and I've I don't feel 73 because I'm pretty active for my age. But I'd like to feel a lot younger than 73. I like to be the 30 or 35, something like that if I can. And I get a lot more compliments from my husband lately, I noticed. He's not one to throw those around a lot. So
nice.
The other day he said, "You look pretty good." I'm like, "Oh, thank you," because he doesn't usually do that. I think a lot of this is rubbing off on him sleeping next to me.
I've heard that from at least 2 spouses. One spouse actually got off his blood pressure medication just because his wife had a device and they were sleeping together. And so he said, well, I want to be a member. So he joined too. And he's the one I actually interviewed.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. He was feeling dizzy. His blood pressure dropped. So it's possible.
Yeah. It's another thing. I mean, something else that I've done, but I did this on my own before I even started LWS, because after I told you about the incident and I wasn't going diving anymore, my husband said we're too old, and I'm like, I kind of went along with it. And so I just gave it up. But I finally said, I'm not going to give up what I love to do and everything. And I went and I talked to my doctor and I told him, why am I on blood pressure medicine? He said, well, when you started coming to me, you were on it. I said, well, my previous doctor put me on it because I had one episode once where my blood pressure shot up one time and they put me on it and wanted me to stay on it the rest of my life. And I said, well, that doesn't seem like it's a necessary thing. Maybe I could try to wean myself off of it. And so he did that. He let me take my blood pressure at home. Like I'd take it every day for a month and then I'd let him know the results. And then we did that for 3 months. My blood pressure was maybe a little higher than what is normal, but it wasn't anything to be worried about at all. So I'm not on that anymore. Good. And guess what else I'm not on? Cholesterol medicine.
Good.
So I take 0 medicine.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's great. Cholesterol medicine is a joke. Like, don't even get me started on that. That is ridiculous. Cholesterol is a precursor hormone. So from cholesterol comes pregnenolone, and from pregnenolone comes estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, which are youthful hormones that deplete with age. So if we deplete our cholesterol, then we deplete our youthful hormones. It just doesn't make sense.
Yes, exactly. And I was on both of those for like 10 years. I only started taking them like when I was in my 50s. And then I was like, I don't think I need this, because I was pretty active. I used to play racquetball and do a lot of things, Of course, I can't do that with my shoulders anymore, but I can do other things, ride the bike and do other things. So I'm good with it.
So Kathie, besides scuba diving, is there anything else that you're looking forward to after the Q arc?
Oh yeah. Well, I want to get my healing center.
Woo!
I want to get my healing center in Tampa and Chicago, and do all those other things that I want to do to help people. I want to travel a lot, and I want to go with my family on vacations. Nice. And I want to do our dream trip that we never did, that we were supposed to go to Australia and dive with the sharks.
Ooh, that sounds scary.
We did it in the Bahamas, but our dream trip in our lifetime was to go to Australia and dive with the sharks, and we have not done that. So that is on our to-do list. It's on my to-do list, and I don't know if he's going to go, but I do a lot of things without him. If he doesn't want to do it, I find someone else to do it with, or I go do it. And I think he's going to come around once he sees what's going on, when he really wakes up. I think he'll be good. We've been married 53 years, so it's a long time. And so we kind of like are connected at the hip, except he's in a different timeline than I am. So for sure. For now. They're going to flip. They have to. It will be almost impossible for them to not flip once, I'm just dying for the EBS. Just come on. Me too. I know. Me too. I can't wait. I'm so excited about everything just going forward now, but I know there's still a lot of work. There's a lot of work I got to do, because I want to get myself ready for the Q arc, and I want to be prepared mentally and physically and spiritually too. Mm-hmm. So I think
we all need to do that. I need to work on the spiritual component. I've let my busyness get in the way. I need to stop and start meditating like you did, bookending your day with it. So that instead of like my assistant, she is in the Philippines. And so every morning I wake up at 5:30 and she's already got work I need to approve so she can go to bed,
I see.
And so I start working early. And then I go to the gym and, do my stuff. I just need to help her and then just carve out like maybe, 6:15 to 6:30, just stop and just go within. So
and it's kind of like just planning it out and organizing it, because I do volunteer work also. I help with seniors 3 days a week. I from like 8 to 12, 8 to 1 sometimes. I help with them get the meals out to people, and then sometimes I deliver the meals myself. So I help with that too, and I enjoy doing that.
That's really cool.
I really like doing that, and I'm going to be able to help them. Once the redemption, I'll be able to help them a lot more than I even do physically now. But so that's something cool too, and I fit that into my day too. So I'm pretty busy. I keep myself
Good for
pretty
you.
busy.
That's why you're young. You're young, 73, because, there's we have this limbic brain that needs to be needed. And so it's so important when people retire, they really do go downhill oftentimes. Because they're not supporting that part of their brain. And so by you continuing to do this volunteer work, it's feeding you. It's just supporting you. So
I know. And when I retired, I thought, wow, I'm going to retire, because I was working 16 hours a day doing appraisals. I worked for a bank doing appraisals for the bank. I was also selling real estate. So I still have my managing broker's license in Chicago. But I just gave up my appraisal license this year after I had it 30 years, just because I'm not going to use it anymore. And you have to take a lot of classes and to keep it up and all that. And then I also heard later on, it's probably the licensing is probably going to go away anyway at some point. But
we'll see. But we do for now, especially with the PHF, we need that transition. So it'll be helpful for us for sure.
Yes.
So, all right, my darling. Well, first of all, I want to say I'm so impressed with the amazing changes you've had in just 7 short weeks.
Thank you.
And it's nice to see your face again. So thank you so much for coming to spend some time with me, my darling.
It was really nice being here. Tracy, I just look for your messages all the time so I can follow everything that I can possibly follow that you give out to us, because it's so valuable. I appreciate that so much. Just wanted you to know that. So.
Aw. Well, I appreciate it. I just love it. I mean, I love what I'm doing, everything I'm doing with the interviews and the videos and the audios, and just, it's just exactly what I'm created to do, I feel. And, yes. I haven't always been in this position. I used to take my kids when I was raising my kids, fast food, like twice a week, and I ate it too. And now I'm like, and then I started studying nutrition in 2007, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I had to help them break all their bad habits, and, so.
Yes. Well, I know there's another thing that I thought about that after the QARC is, I mean, I want to get the healing beds in the centers and all that, but I want to help people, like, like if they want help with like spiritual type stuff, I feel like I can like help people with that kind of thing. Maybe not professionally, but I mean, I can just, be there like spiritually for somebody, it's just because, I mean, that's the way I did it. I mean, I just went in there and did it. And, some people don't know where to begin. So.
Well, you can help.
Yes,
it's just like that whole teach a man to fish, and then teach a man to teach a man to fish.
Exactly.
End world hunger. That's the way it goes.
Because I can't believe I'm here where I'm at right now. I mean, I can't even believe it. And I'm so happy and excited about everything that I just want everybody else to feel the same way. And I want everybody to be healed. I want everybody to be healed and be younger.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to happen, girl. It's going to happen. With Cynthia steering our ship, we're in good hands.
She's awesome.
Well, it was wonderful having this visit with you, Kathie. So please have a beautiful day, and I'll be talking to you soon. Have you back for part 2 after the QARC. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much. Take care.
Sweet girl. Have a beautiful day.